Hello. I think that you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can't. This is only the second time that I've ever streamed before, so everything's still kind of new to me. But I think I'll get it. We'll see. I'm gonna try and adjust the sound a bit. How about that? Okay, cool. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We got 25 people here right now, which is amazing. Thank you for the turnout. I really appreciate that. Today, we're just gonna work on the game that I've been showing off in the in the Discord and stuff. And yeah, like I was saying, if you notice anything weird about the stream, be sure to let me know because I'm still very new to that. Hello, everyone. So, let's see. What actually is the plan for the stream? I haven't decided exactly, but I have a general idea. Oh shoot, my heat turned on. You can probably tell I have a green screen behind me, and it's like wobbling because the vents just turned on. So what I wanted to work on today, let me double check my notes on what I wanted to do. One of the big things was key binding. So the next release that I'm going to be doing is the key binding release. So I thought it'd be cool if we kind of just like check it out. It's all smooth. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad that it's looking good so far. So I'm going to pull up the library that we're going to be using. So this library was recommended by one of the mods in the Discord. And what this library does, it allows you to configure just custom keybinds, and you're able to change these strings at any point with whatever inputs you want. So if I get this set up with my own game, it should be really easy to change which keys are bind to which actions. And then also it has a really cool like joystick built-in like actions. So for example, here it's probably a little bit small for you guys to see, but like axis left, X minus. What that refers to is if you had like a joystick and you moved it to the left, because X minus is left. If you change this to like X plus, that would be right, and Y plus and minus is up and down. So it allows you to use joysticks and everything like that. So this library really does seem good. That was Fanerbati who suggested this, so thank you. I really appreciate that. So far in the game, I haven't done anything with this. All I've done is just downloaded the file, which is called baton.lua, and I have it included in my game now. And I also have it required in the code right here. So now at this point, we just need to go back to the documentation, and we need to start doing what they do here in this example. So what they do is they use this baton new, and then they create a whole bunch of like settings specifically that. Can I see the chat? Yeah, I can see the chat. It's a little out of the way. I have to like look all the way this way in order to see it really well. But yeah, I can see the chat, and I'm glancing over. I do want to be somewhat productive though, so it's gonna be a challenge. I'll look over as much as I can. Your game seems so cool. Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. So let's see. I want to go ahead and put this in data. So this file data.lua is where I keep everything that gets saved, like to a save file. So for example, like it has the player's position, it has how much health you have, how much money you have. So all these things are just saved into a save file that we can access at any point. And I think that putting this baton stuff into data as well will be really useful, because whenever you create a new save file, it's going to include this baton stuff. Is there a release for mobile? There's no mobile release plan. I'm sorry about that. It would increase the development time by quite a bit, and I don't really know how controls would work on mobile, unfortunately. So yes, this is the reveal for save systems, but yeah, so you can see all kinds of stuff that I have saved to the save file, like all the settings are here, and this is kind of old stuff. Since you have unlimited ammo now, you don't really need this, but I still have it saved. So yeah, I'm gonna put all the key binding stuff specifically here. I give you some ideas. I'm glad. Yeah, use whatever ideas you want. Nothing that I come up with is mine alone, so please use anything that you can think of. Let's see, so we're going to go ahead and I think I'm just going to copy this whole thing right here. Although they're saying local input, I don't think I want local, I think I want it to be global. So we're going to go ahead and put this right here, and we need to adjust it. Ugh. This works. Okay, are the messages appearing on his screen? Yeah, so I think that's a common thing with streams where it takes like 10 seconds or something. I'm in low latency mode on YouTube, and that's what it says. But even still, it just takes a while for me to see it. I've seen it take up to 10 seconds. Like I can actually see the stream right now, and I can tell that it's literally like 10 seconds behind. Because I'm still looking this way. Wait. No, I'm not. I have it backwards. Jeez, I have no idea how I'm so new to streaming, I don't know what I'm doing. But we're just gonna keep going. So the default ones that they have included in here is they have the controls for left, right, up, down, and action. Can we use the mouse in here too? I think we can. So these don't need to change. These can stay the same. You'll be able to unlock new colors. Yeah, you can unlock lots of new colors. In fact, I think it's in the game right. It is in the game right now. If you just go to the menu and go over to equipment, you can change your color to whatever you want. But yeah, you'll be able to unlock new ones. I have 10 here, but there's probably going to be more. It depends. It just depends on the scope. So now this is here. I think next I want to work on getting the mouse incorporated into this, which I know that you can. Mouse button. Mouse is down. I think this is going to be mouse 1 or 2. The buttons, table button number. Yeah, so mouse buttons in Love 2D are just 1 and 2. So if I went down to mouse pressed, so what this function does is it reads whenever you click the mouse in any capacity, and it saves which button you press to this button property. If button is 1, that means left click, and if button is 2, that means right click. So I think we have to do something really similar here, where, like, say action. We can go ahead and do action. That's fine. Although I'll probably call it main action. I'll call it main action, and we'll call that key. Well, there's no key that does that. I'll leave the button, but really this is more of a mouse 1. I think that's how this works. Is you say mouse 1 because 1 represents the left click, but I don't see any examples of this mouse. Yeah, they don't provide any examples. Oh, I'm still on the game. Oh shoot, you're right. I'm so sorry. So I have it set up where the game goes full screen whenever, just whenever. Oh, hi Rudolph. Thank you for coming in. Sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know that I wasn't showing the code, because I didn't mean to do that. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna change my. I'm gonna get rid of something. I'm gonna get rid of game capture. Okay, so now whenever I show the game, it's just gonna show it like this, where it's like a small window, because when it goes full screen like that, I can't tell when it's covering everything up. So we're just gonna leave like this. Am I using multiple monitors? No, I'm using one monitor, but it's a giant monitor. It's like really big. So that's how that's doing that. Let's see again. Oh yeah, so the other thing I wanted to mention is this pairs thing. This pairs thing is really interesting how it works. So it's kind of weird, but it's saying that it's taking left, right, up, and down and putting it all inside of this table right here. And left, right, up, and down refers to these left, right, up, and down. So it's taking all of these configurations up here and adding it to this, so that whenever you want to say make the player move, you just call this. Everything for left, right, up, and down is just all incorporated here, which is neat, but it also sounds a little bit hard. So let's start with that. We're gonna start with the movement before anything else, because I think the mouse might be a little bit tricky. So I'm gonna try seeing how they incorporated move into this. And I think you just do some kind of like get pairs. Movements. Player should move. And where is this being saved to? Input that update. Okay, so I do need to call this actually. So let's do that before anything else. Would I rather write a system manually? I mean, I could do that. The reason why I like this though is because like it's already here, but also the joystick stuff is built in really nicely. So the challenge here with this is just understanding how to use this this library, but really it's not that bad. Back to data. So input gets created when the game starts, and then in the update function, this input is always going to be updated, which according to the documentation we need to do, just in case we ever change the input. About the invisible player and some tiling. Oh, you're the one that reported the invisible player. I haven't figured out how to fix that. I haven't figured out how to even replicate that issue, unfortunately. I need to go back to your thread and see what caused it, because it's really strange, because it's not just the player that was invisible in your bug. It was everything, like the trees and the chests and the enemies and stuff. So something was really strange with the way it was working on your computer. Back to move. So you can getting the value of axis pairs. Player get pair. I'm missing something. So you need to assign this to a player. Input. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't need to do that. I think you can just say input get like this. Oh, perfect. Okay, here we go. I figured it out. So we're going to take this code here. How many times did I code this game? That's a good question. So this is like the 4th iteration of it, but yeah. I don't know how many times. Let's see. We're gonna go back to the player code. So the player has this file, by the way, is atrocious. This is way disorganized. I would never recommend having your file like this. But when player's in state 0, this is when the player is like actually able to walk and move around and stuff. And you can see here, I have these keyboard is down functions. This is awful. Like, I would never recommend anyone to do this, because it's hard coding all of these keys specifically into the code, and we don't want that. So that's the whole point of this library, is that we're able to remove all of these like hard coded as D and write and stuff like that. We don't need that. All we need to do now is we can call input get and then move. So what this is going to do is it's going to go back to data, and it's going to go to input, which is here, and it's going to go to the pairs for move. And since these left, right, up, and down are configured back to these, it should take all of these inputs and appropriately map them to the movement. Which is, okay, it's a little bit complicated, but I think I understand it. So X and Y represents some axis. So really we don't need to check if the keyboard is down. We need to check if, so this is going to the right. We need to say if X is greater than 0. So I'm also going to say input X rather than just X and Y. Input Y. Help you understand things and how programming in general. Thank you. I'm glad that the tutorials were helpful. I put a lot of work into those, and I really should revisit them because there's probably lots of things I could do to improve them. But I'm glad that they're still helpful. And then this one's going left, so that's X is, whoops, we need to say input X is less than 0. And then we say input X is greater than 0. So then this one is referring to down, which is Y is greater than 0. And then finally, we need to check for up, which is Y is less than 0. So now that that's in place, I'm gonna give this like a 30% chance of working. It broke. Okay, so it did actually crash, but I actually like crashes. Whenever Whenever the crash happens, it just tells you exactly what went wrong. Do I prefer camel case, Pascal case? I definitely prefer camel case. Although it definitely depends on the scenario, but in general, I use camel case more than anything. I started putting dashes between things for like folders and directories, but for variables and stuff. Oh, wow. Okay, so it says 195. It's attempting to compare with nil. 195. Oh, whoops. Yeah, this is input Y, not Y. Input Y. Okay, let's try that again. I cannot believe that works. That works right off the bat. Okay, well, that saved us a lot of time. I can't believe that works. So I completely just changed how the player's movement works, where it's now using it's now using baton automatically. That was ridiculously easy. So the reason why this is so awesome now is because if I want to change the player's like if I want to change the controls or the keys that we're using, all I have to do is just change these strings right here. So like right now I have A, D, W, and S, or ASDF, or ASDFW. What is it? Jeez. A, D, W, S. Ugh. So that's what it's mapped to for walking right now. I'm gonna change it to J, L, I, and K. So now if I save and run, I should be able. Whoops. Oh, whoops. I have L bind to something else. I have L to bind to open up this web page, so we can't use L. Oh my gosh, we got a super chat? I just wanted to say that your Love to Do tutorials really helped you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you for donating. Thank you. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Nick Sionic. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. But anyway, back to this. Oh shoot. I have so many keys bind to random junk. So you can see when I press J, it actually shows all the collisions. And then when I press L, it opens up the Love2D web page for, or not the Love2D website page, the download page. So I don't really want either of those things. But regardless, the key binding is working. All I have to do is just change these strings here to whatever you want. So I'm gonna change these back. So that's amazing. I can't believe that works so well. If you'd own Lua, what would you probably change? Some kind of built-in inheritance thing would be really nice. The tables are okay for doing inheritance, and like I do that with the enemies. If I go to the enemy code, I implemented some like really hacky inheritance. Somewhere here. Nope, not this one. Here. So when you create an enemy, you pass in what type it is. So like I or bat. And then what it does is it just takes that string and it loads in the appropriate file. So that means not all of the enemy code is within this enemy file. It's in these related files. So like if you go to the bat, you can see that the bat has some of its own specific functions and some of its own logic. But it is all inherited from enemy because you can see that this file is particularly large. It has a lot of the AI logic is in here. Anything that's generic for the enemies I keep in this file. So inheritance does work. I think it would be better if there was something more built in, but it's not an object-oriented language, so it's not something that you can really ask for. Let's go back to trying to get the mouse working. So I'm really, really happy that I got the movement working, and that was very, very easy. And it works for that's the other thing is that you can see that key left and key A are in here. That means that you can use either of these keys in order to move left. And if I wanted to, I could add more to this list. And in fact, it also includes axis left X minus, which means that if you use the joystick, like on a controller, to move left, it would automatically work. I think that this is gonna work right off the right out of the box, like immediately. And then also this button DP left is referring to a button on a controller, which I haven't implemented yet. There's no controller support quite yet, but since this is in place, it'll be really easy. It'll be way easier than it would have been. So then let's go back to main action. The documentation doesn't specifically say how to get mouse input working. It does give us this, where we can say a mouse button, and then it says a number representing a mouse button. So I do think that mouse 1 like this does represent the left mouse click. But let's see. So main action, we're gonna go back to, what should I do? We're gonna do this in NPC. Oh, actually, no. Where does it? I think this happens in main. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Handle click. This is hard. This is really tough because I don't want. I want it to be mouse pressed, not is down, and I'm worried that this is representing. Yeah, it is down, I think. Let's search this again. Mouse. Getting the active input device. Anytime only the keyboard and mouse will always take precedence over the joystick. So, you know, maybe I don't need key binding specifically for that. Or maybe I do. You like how Control B lets you go to the boss battle? I like that too. There's actually some hidden commands too that I haven't really announced to anyone. But if you want to warp directly to the dungeon, if you do Alt-1, you'll go straight here. So that's a little secret debug trick in case you ever want to warp right to the start of that cave. You can do Alt-1. But let's go back to checking this. So player down, Control. Oh, here it is. Oh, it does work. That is so cool. I can't believe that works so well. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so let's go back. All of this code here doesn't need to live here anymore. It can move to the player code now. Which engine is this? This is Love 2D. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all of this and I'm not gonna move it quite yet. I'm gonna go back to player. Oh, this is so tricky. Because there's lots of different components to this, because it's more than just the player that handles the click. It's also like the UI you need to handle clicks. So maybe I shouldn't move it to the player. Maybe I should keep it in main or update. Or maybe I can have like a new input. Items, I know. I have a file called item. Item. So this has like use item. I'm gonna put it here. There's probably better spots, but we're just gonna go with this function, and we'll say handle click. I think I already have one called that. I'm gonna call it baton click. And I spelled function wrong. There we go. Let's go ahead and put in that thing from the docs, which was this, which is amazing. So we can do this if we say input colon pressed, and the control we want is main action. So we want, I think it's main action like this. Maybe it's not a string. Why is control not a string here? We're gonna try it with the string. Is Love2D better than Godot Engine as a beginner? Probably not. So Love2D is a framework, pretty low level. There's no UI. It's just you code and you do art outside of the program. It's not really all built in. I think an engine like Godot or Unity is easier for a newcomer. But if you want to learn to code, if like your end goal is to learn to code, I think that doing something like this would be way better because you get a really good grasp on how the game works. So we're gonna try this if action, or wait, if input press main action, then, you know, let's just test things out. We're gonna do D1 equals D1 plus 1. So D1 is just a variable that I use for debugging. So if I go up to my draw function, I can undo this, and we can now see this D1 and D2. These are just debug values, and the idea is I'm hoping that when I do the main action, I'll see that value go up. So back in, where was that? That was an item, baton click. This needs to go in update, which is over here. I'm gonna put this here. No, I'm gonna put this, whoops. I'm gonna put this lower. Actually, I'm gonna put this really early. I'm gonna put this up here. So I think that if I click, okay, it does work. That's amazing. Okay, it does work. So if you're saying use libgdx is a lot easier, it could be. Libgdx is a little bit more mainstream, but they're both really niche. I personally prefer love2d just because I hate Java. If you never coded with Java before, it's got a lot of overhead. It's kind of obnoxious, but I think it's a good language still. It's object-oriented. It's probably better for game dev. Okay, so what I was getting at is that now whenever I click, you can see the D1 value goes up by 1. And what that means is that, where is that? Baton? No, it's an item. That means that this line is getting hit, which is great because that means I can move anything from mouse pressed over into there. In fact, I think I can move all of this. I can just copy this out, move it here, and put it in here. Okay, and then, oh, well, come on. Main action. How does this work? Main handle click button. Oh, no. I don't have to touch that. Or do I? Actually, I don't think, whoops. I don't think this is important. I think I can just get rid of that. Let's go back to buttons and double check. Let's see. So what were we doing? We were checking handle click. So these buttons, this file called button.lua is one that I made for buttons, which all the buttons are any cases of something like this. These are all considered buttons, or even these are considered buttons too. So all of the code that I'm looking at right now is code for these like button objects, and it would be important to capture which button it is, but I don't think it is anymore. I don't think it is. Oh, yeah, because I'll just get rid of this. So with this new setup, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all because the main action is just tied to some button. I don't need to check for which button it is here. I can just get rid of this entirely. Not understanding the code you did. If you have a specific question, I know it's a little bit complicated. The key to understanding this, if you are interested in implementing this or something similar, definitely read through this document. This is just GitHub Baton for Love2D, and I think that this does a really good job of explaining it. There's a lot of text and a lot of details, and all I'm doing is kind of just following it and putting it into my project. But my project is also complex in its own way, which kind of making it all work together is the tricky part. I'm doing my best to explain it while also making some progress. But handle click is fine there. NPC's check click, I also think that's fine. Check click. Yeah, it doesn't check for the button at all, so I can get rid of that. I don't have to worry about it, so that's fine. We don't have this if button is equal to 1 anymore. We just move this to here. This is all outdated code anyway. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of this too. And okay, I think that's good. So this should work the exact same as how it used to, except now it's tied to the, oh, that's kind of buggy. Yeah, this is bugged. Are all the buttons like that? Oh, check it out. It's hitting this. It's hitting every button twice. It's hard to tell. But like when you move right from items, it's supposed to go to the equipment menu, but it skips 2 screens and goes straight to setting, and you can see it blip a little bit. And the same thing here. It's hitting the button twice. If I click, it does off and then back on again. So I need to fix that. Let's see what happens now. So, baton click. Maybe this is being handled twice. I think it is actually. Click. Maybe it is. It doesn't look like it is. I'm having a little trouble understanding why it's doing 2 clicks at once. But it is only doing that with the buttons. No, it's doing that with all of them. It's doing that with all of them. Okay, so baton click. If incorrect is press main action. Then buttons handle click. Check click. I wonder why it's doing that. That makes me nervous. I can't figure out why it's clicking twice. So I might need to wait on that. Let's take another look at data. Mouse 1, button A. If I change this to mouse 2, maybe? Tick DT, every update is casting a click. Yeah, it is. I can't even exit. Oh, wait, yeah, I can. I was pressing the wrong button. Do you generally use Windows or Mac? I use Windows. So I have a Mac, and I have a Mac specifically because I posted an app to the App Store, and you do need a Mac device in order to do that. I also used a Mac for a few years, probably like 6 or 7 years ago, to make my first game. And it was on a Mac Mini. It was really crappy, but I liked it. But overall, I like Windows more, just mainly because I just understand it a little bit better. Do I do all the art? I don't do all the art. I do a lot of it, but I commissioned some people to help out with some extra sprite work. There's a lot of open source assets included in the game, so not all of it is done by me now. Let's see. I don't think I'm casting baton twice. It's only doing it once. If I got rid of this baton click, maybe I don't need to call this every frame. No, I do need to call it every frame. There's no way around that. This would break everything if I got rid of. Wait, how did that? No. That's right. You finally joined my Discord server? Thank you. The Discord is popping off. The Discord is so much fun. I go on the Discord every day, and I love seeing all the stuff that people post. It really is great. Did to transfer the love to Mac? Yeah, so since all this code is checked into a Git repo, I just push everything to master, and then I go to my Mac device and I just pull everything from master, and then I build it, and then yeah, it's using the same code. It's not necessarily the same love file, but it's the same code generating the same love file. But overall, yes, that is correct. I'm really frustrated that I can't figure this out. I wonder if it's one thing we should check is where is this? One thing we should check to see is if it's actually calling this twice. D1 equals D1 plus 1. So when I click, whoops, I might not need to re-enable that update. Do you have any plans out a quest system? There's not going to be quests specifically. There's not going to be like a quest interface or waypoints or anything like that, but there will be NPCs that tell you, like, there's something interesting in this area. You can go do that. But it's not going to be a thing where you like turn in quests. I've never been too big of a fan of that. It just depends on the context. In this game, I don't think it would work very well. So this is really interesting, guys, because whenever I click once to use the sword, it only adds 1 to DT. It only does it once. And yet, whenever I click on one of these like buttons, oh, what did I do? Did anyone see what I did? Why is it working now? What did I do? Yeah, it would be a quest system similar to Dark Souls. Because yeah, the Dark Souls characters, they just say, go to this area and you might find something. I don't know why it works now. That almost makes me sad that it works now because I didn't figure out what the problem was. But it's not clicking twice anymore. So I guess we'll just call it good. I guess that's a win. But what you just saw is very common in coding, where you are confused why something works. And I like playing that game that I did earlier, where if I just spent a bunch of time implementing something, and I'm not sure if it's going to work, I like giving it like a percentage odds of it working. Like saying, I think that there's a 40% chance of this working. What does UX mean, by the way? Sorry, I keep saying UX. UX means user experience. It's a term that you use in software development more than game dev, but it's kind of a buzzword more than anything. A UX is just like this. It's just a UI, a user interface. But UX is more encompassing. It also kind of includes like the feel of it. It includes the whole experience as a whole, as opposed to just what you're seeing here. But really, you can use the terms UX and UI pretty much interchangeably. If someone used them interchangeably, to me, I wouldn't bat an eye. I would consider that completely normal. It almost is pretentious to say UX, but that's what we say at work. I work at Microsoft, and we say UX for everything. We don't really say UI. So I kind of just adapted that from work. If you change your bow and then change weapons, I've seen something like that. Maybe we can fix that now. So let's use the bow, and then we do that, and then we change weapons. So now I'm on the sword, and the bow is still out. I took my hands off the mouse, so it is weird that you can still see the mouse or the bow out. Oh, and when you slash, it like gets really weird, and I'm moving slowly. Let's go ahead and fix that. So we're gonna do add baton. So this is another good thing. If you guys aren't using GitHub or using any kind of version control for your projects, be sure to do that because it's amazing. So like for example, all that stuff that I just did in the last 30 minutes, all those changes are here on the side, and you can just add a little message, and now it's going to be saved and pushed to the cloud. So if my computer just fries itself or my house burns to the ground, all that code is still safe because it's uploaded to GitHub. And it's really great because now if I wanted to build for Mac, I can just go over to my Mac. I don't have to transfer anything. I just need to pull the latest version from Git, and we'll be good to go. Is the grapple hook glitch fixed yet? You might need to be more specific because this thing is buggy. Oh, it's not working right now. I need to actually do that real quick. So let's go back to item. So we have the main action set, but we need to do the same thing for the side action, not that. Where is this? So we need side action. Side action. This is mouse 2. We'll do button B, I guess. That's not important. We're not using that right now. Then item, baton click, and then we need to say, I'm just going to copy all of this. That's not good practice, but don't judge me. Side action. Buttons, handle, click. No, we don't do either of these things. And pause that. We don't do this either. We just do this. I'll go ahead and do dialog continue, but I think we just do this. And I think that's it. I think now my side items will work. So before I wasn't able to throw the bombs, or use the grapple. But yeah, the grapple is buggy. You love watching me code? Thank you. Yeah, watching someone code is very tricky because like I have a ton of context of like how all of this stuff works. It all makes perfect sense to me, and I'm doing my best to say out loud what it's doing and what I'm doing, but there's still just so much here. Like you look at all these files and there's hundreds of lines on each file. There's just a lot of knowledge. It's hard to grasp. It's hard to like even if you put me on someone else's project, it'd be the exact same where I would just look at all this and be like, this is a lot. I don't know what's going on. And that's part of the challenge. If you ever do start like working at a software company, it's the same. That's the same thing. It's the same challenge because you join and then suddenly you're thrown into this big giant project that already exists and has thousands of lines of codes, and you have to thousands of lines of code, and you have to figure out how it all works. And that's really the whole challenge with the job. Well, my vids, thank you so much. Limau. I can't tell if that's an L or an I. That's one of my pet peeves is fonts where you can't tell the difference between L and I. I love like this one up here. That's clearly a 1. And these L's here, it's hard to tell if that's an L or a capital I. There aren't any, but it's an I. Okay. So what were we gonna do? Oh yeah, so I fixed this. I'm gonna get rid of that D1 stuff. D1, I think it got rid of that there. Let's go ahead and hide. Whoops, we're gonna hide this one. Aye. Okay, so this is good to go. We're gonna say fixed side item. Next thing we need to do is we were gonna fix that bow glitch, which I think that's pretty easy because the biggest problem was that the player has this property called aiming, and I think if I just set aiming to false, it will fix itself. So I'm going to go to how is this? I think it's under loadouts. Whoops. I think it's under loadouts. And unlock loadout, unlock side, swap loadout, swap dir. So whenever we swap dir, I'm going to set aiming to false. And the grapple bug, yeah. 39, that's pretty good. That's really good. That's a lot of people. Thank you guys for joining. I really, really do appreciate that. For anyone that's just joining, I'm just working on this game. We're just chatting and seeing how things go. But the thing I was working on now is that someone in the chat was reporting that when you hold out the bow like this and then you switch over to the sword, oh, I fixed it. Right. Let me show you what the bug did. So I fixed the bug with just one line of code. So the bug is when you have the bow out and then you switch the sword, you now have the bow permanently out. Like even though I don't have my hands on the mouse, the bow is still out, which it should not happen. And whenever I click, the sword comes out, but the bow is still out and I can't use it. If I switch back to the bow fires, which is funny. So the way I fixed it is just that whenever you swap loadouts, the player cannot be aiming anymore. The aiming property goes back to false. So now whenever I take the bow out and I switch over to the sword, it removes the bow and we are back to normal. So I'm gonna go ahead and check that in. Fixed bow bug. I'm also gonna move this down so that looks a little bit nicer. Put this here and double check. And there we go. Good to go. Fix the bow bug. That's okay. That was not a good message. That message I put up here where I just said fix bow bug, that's not specific enough. You really should be specific with your commit messages, just so in case anyone else looks at these, they'll say like, oh, bow bug, what even is that? But if I said fix bow bug from switching loadouts, that would be a way better message, because anyone who sees this has way more context on what actually the code I'm doing changes. Because here's the other thing, is that if I go to the repo for this, which it's private, you guys can't view this one, but if I go here, you can go to see the commits, and like let's say that I was collaborating with someone, I could hand this off and they could say, get familiar with the code. And they can go through all my commits and they can say, oh, they fixed a bug here, let's say what they did. And you can see all the code changes that I made just now, which is just this line right here. But it clearly shows that this line is what fixed the bow bug, and that information is useful to people that are just seeing it. He's gonna look when I turn right like this. Wait. One thing that's funny is that, so my monitor, you guys can't see it, but my monitor is very, very wide. So if I want to see how the stream is doing, I look over this way. This is where OBS is. So like when I look at the camera like this, I'm looking at OBS. But when I look all the way over here, this is where the chat is. So whenever I'm looking at this side, that's how you know. That's how you know. Origami with Chillin', thank you for joining in. Thank you for stopping by. Dead Zone, thank you. Not Clay, again, thank you for joining. We got a lot of people, and 41 is really, really cool. I'm so excited to have so many people watching. Let's go back to working on the key binding thing. So there's still more binds that we need to do. For example, pretty much anything in the main we need to fix. So like, let's do the swap loadouts, for example. So these right here, Q and E, is what you use to swap your loadouts. And we don't want it to be Q and E, of course. We want it to be using baton. So we're going to say, whoops, where is this? This is under data. And we're going to make a new action, or a new control. I'm going to call it swap left, and this is Q. We'll leave that at B, I guess, because I am not working on the buttons yet. And then swap right is, no, not mouse Q, it's key Q. And then key E. How long have I been coding for? So I started making games with Game Maker, which if you're familiar with Game Maker, it's like a drag and drop, kind of like Scratch sort of programming. You get a really good feel for coding logic when you work with something like that, but it is still different. So if you disregard all the Game Maker stuff I did when I was like 13, my first coding class was when I was in high school, when I was a junior in high school. So that, I don't know, how old was that? 15 or 16, I think. That would be my first formal coding class, and then after that I went to college for it. But I genuinely think I learned a lot of coding from Game Maker, even though it wasn't like worded like it didn't have like syntax like this. It was just drag and drop coding. But I still feel like I learned a lot about how coding worked from that. Yep, this is Lua in Love2D. Am I coding with Python? No, this is Lua. Lua is kind of similar to Python in a way, though. Back to this, though. Swap left and swap right. Let's go to iDum, because I think I'm handling it here. So we're going to say if input pressed, and this is swap left, then we're going to do this. And if input pressed, swap right, then we do this. And I can get rid of these entirely. And now I should be able to, whoops, that is broken. No control with the name swap left defined. Where did I put that? Swap left and swap right. Did I call it something different? That looks right. Is this, oh, I didn't save this file. Yeah. Any concept art? Concept art is actually in progress. It's very funny that you say that because someone from the Discord messaged me recently and they are working on some concept and promo art right now. Ban GPS, is someone saying something annoying? Oh yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of them. Hide user from the channel. Thank you for letting me know. I don't actually have any mods. Not Clay, would you like to be a mod? And let's see, who else? Who else do I talk to a lot on the Discord? King, you can be a mod too if you want. But yeah, let me know in the chat if you want modship. Modship, is that a thing? Is that even a word? Samuel, welcome. What we were doing is doing the swap left and right, swap right thing. For some reason, it's saying that it's not recognized. Swap side action. It's right here. You would think that would work. Input press side action. Oh, you don't do pressed. You don't do press. You do something different. So we need to go back to the documentation for baton. It's not pressed that we use. It's, no, it is pressed that we use. If input pressed action. Okay, well, it must be like this then. That doesn't make sense. Why is it like that? Input pressed. Swap right. It's right. Oh, it's because I didn't save. Right. I forgot. Let's make sure that works. So I should be able to press. Yep. Okay, it works. Good. For some reason, I thought it was broken, but it's actually working. I just didn't save one of the files. How well I've been working on this game. It's hard to say because the game looked a lot different like 2 years ago. 2 years. Long story short, 2 years. It's been a while. Has it actually, when was that? When was the first video with this posted? Maybe it hasn't been quite 2 years. I think it's been like a year and a half. Yeah, me forgetting to save that's the first thing I do. If something doesn't work when I expect it to work, I just scroll through all these files to see if I forgot to save something, which is what happened just now. So let's do the same thing, except let's do it for map and F. What's F? Oh, this is the spell. Okay, yeah, let's do it for the spell. So we need to add a new action. Let's add, we're gonna call this spell. Spell, and the key is F. So now, if I go back to item, if I do spell, whoops, not this. We need to spell, then I can just copy all this code from here and get rid of this. Oh, I'm so excited to get this file cleaned up. I hate having any code in main. I like having them all in other files. What's the point of stream messages delay, by the way? I don't know. Probably just latency. I don't know why there's... I imagine it's just for network purposes. But delayed setting? No, I set the delay settings for low latency, which is the default. So if it's a long delay, I'm sorry about that. You can't really fix that. I imagine most YouTube streams are like that too. I don't know what the exact delay is. It seems like it's probably like 10 seconds, which isn't ideal. I would prefer it was like 2 or 3 seconds, but we'll see what I can do. There is an option for ultra low latency as well, so maybe in later streams I can try that, but I think that requires a really strong internet connection, and I would need to connect my PC through Ethernet, which I could do. I could still do that. Yeah, a multi-shot bow attack. That's an interesting idea. I haven't. So the bow is going to be reworked in some capacity. But in general, it's actually pretty good. I do like how the bow feels because it's fun to charge it up and then shoot it, and then it's also fun to do short attacks. I think the one thing that I want to change about the bow is that when you do like an uncharged attack like this looks pretty lame. I'm thinking about having some different sort of like uncharged attack for the bow. But let's continue on with the key binding stuff. Next one we're going to do is this one, which is the map. So let's go to this, and we're going to say map. This is tied to key M. And same thing as always. Whoops, dang it. Item. Sent this message in 1.2 seconds. Okay, yeah. So it's possible that the delay actually isn't very bad. I'm doing my best to respond quickly into all the messages, but there's a lot of them, so I can only do so much. Let's see. What should we do next? Oh yeah, we're doing the map. So we're gonna go ahead and do another one of these. And we're gonna say map. And for map, we're going to go ahead and take this. This level in progress, that's not important anymore. You can open the map anywhere. I used to have it where you could only open the map when you're in a dungeon. But you can open the map wherever, it doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of that. So the map is good. What is L? L is open site. I think I'm just gonna leave this. That doesn't need to be rebound. Key escape. Let's see. I'll call this settings. So back in data, I'm gonna get rid of all these. I don't need any of these open. Let's see. Now we're gonna do. We're gonna do escape, which I'm gonna call settings. Settings, and this is escape. Is it esc or escape? Oh, it's escape. It's spelled out escape. And then we're going to go back to item. Same deal as always. Press settings. And then we need to do this. If development, then quit. I'm going to get rid of this. We don't need that. So now I should be able to open the map. UNK error. Hello. Thank you for coming in. So if I press M, oh, it didn't work. Am I binding that right? Map is M. Maybe map is. Actually, I think map is a reserved word, or I used it before, but so is up. I'm gonna change this to open map and open settings. Oh, wait. No, I got that right. Open map and open settings. I didn't save this file, I think. Is there a Discord to join? Yes, there is. I think that the description of this stream has the Discord link. But is discord.gg/chillarcade if you're interested. Let's see. It still doesn't open. Does escape? So escape works. For some reason the map doesn't. So let's see what happened. Why does that? Show map. Oh, we don't want this. Yeah, this is different. We actually don't want this at all. That's the old way to open the map. We need this. Pause the clause. Current index is, what is the map? The map is 3? That's not right. It's 4. 4 is the map. There it is. Got it to work. Redux, hey Chalgate, how did you find the health bar in your game so it doesn't fill over the whole screen? That's a good question. I'll show you how the health bar works. This is a really valuable skill to know how to draw bars, or it's the same thing with the bomb retime timer where it just goes up kind of like a health bar would. But the way that works is you always need to multiply by the max. So one second, let me change these. Added more key bindings. Key bindings. What keyboard am I using? I hope it's not too loud. It's actually kind of off-brand sort of mechanical keyboard from Amazon, but I really do like it, and it does sound nice. It is loud though, so if you guys think that the keyboard's too loud, please let me know. So what were we gonna do? We were gonna look at the health bar, which that's in HUD. So this is in general how you do a health bar. What you need to do, I mean, this looks really complicated, but let's see, what do we actually need? We really only need, no, not that. This draws the outline. This draws the actual thing. Oh no, that's a rectangle. So I'm gonna get rid of all this. Just for my health bar demo. So I'm gonna do that. I think that, okay, so now the bar looks like this. All I did was remove the nice looking sprites to make it look like, I basically removed the border around it. So you can just see the red bar. And you can see that it's a little bit mismatched. The bar kind of extends below where it's supposed to a little bit, but it doesn't matter because normally there's a border that surrounds the whole health bar up here where you can't see any of this stuff down below. All that matters is the left and right. And we can see that whenever I go and take damage, from this enemy over here, the bar does shrink. It goes down. And the reason why that works is because, oh, he's going to drown. Goodbye. The reason why that works is because you can see it says 14 out of 25. And the bar is approximately halfway, through halfway to full. More specifically, it's 14 divided by 25 times the width of this bar. So let's say that the width of this bar was 100 pixels. What you would do in order to get the width of this red part is 14 divided by 25 times 100. The whole thing is 100. So 14 divided by 25 times 100 is the exact width of this red part. And that's the trick. That's the trick to doing health bars. Do I work on Unity or any other engine? Not right now. At some point, I'm probably going to switch because I want to start working on some 3D games too. But yeah, for at the moment, all my games are made with Love 2D. I don't use anything else at the moment. So that was my explanation on how the health bar works. Basically, you have, and this is that right there. You have the player's current health divided by the total max health you have, which will give you some percentage between 0 and 1. And then you take this percentage and then you multiply it. Where is that? Where's it being multiplied? It's being multiplied somewhere. Right here. You multiply this percent by the width of the bar, of the red bar that you're drawing. And that will give you the, the partial fill that you do. So right now it's at 25 divided by 25 times 100 is 100. So the bar is full, totally full. And now it's 21 divided by 25 times 100, which is slightly less. And that's just how the health bar works. I bet you could use shaders for it. I bet that would work probably even better. I kind of haven't been using shaders at the moment because I've been having weird compatibility issues with Mac, where the shaders work fine on Windows, but when you move over to Mac, they don't work. I'm gonna add them back in at some point because one of the things that I used shaders for was the darkness up here in this cave. So before I used shaders to do this, where I just drew a big black rectangle in front of everything and then used shaders to remove the center part where you could see through to the player. But since I was having the compatibility issues, I changed this to a vignette, which if you're not familiar with that, and I hope I'm pronouncing that word right, but if I go to the projects for legend and then sprites and then maybe environment, I don't know where I would have saved. Oh, it's probably under FX. Here it is. Darkness. So let's take a look at this image. So this is the vignette I'm talking about. What a vignette is, it's just a big black rectangle, as you can see. So this big black rectangle is covering the entire screen. But you can see that there's a little cutout in the middle. And that's just transparency. You can see straight through to the back. And this is where the player is. So basically everything is covered with this black rectangle except for this really small part. And that's how you see through to where the player is. And that's how the lighting system works right now. The limitation with doing that, though, is there can only be one light source. You can only have the one player being the light source. So you can't have multiple vignettes at once. It doesn't work. So once I implement like torches in here or extra enemies that have their own light sources, or some people were saying like whenever you shoot lightning, it should light up. That's going to require going back to shaders. So I will do that at some point, but right now it's just doing the vignette trick because it's a lot easier. You got message. Clay, your message got ignored again. You're messaging so much. I can't read all your message. I would never use Love 2D for a 3D game. I don't ever do that. So yeah, again, I'm doing my best to read everyone's messages, but if you're messaging a lot, I can't read all of them. Use Asprite. I use Asprite as well. I love Asprite. It's the best. I can't see myself using any other like pixel art program. It really is good. So let's see, what should we work on next? Probably more key binding actually, because there's still more to do. This is testing. It's not necessary. Return and tab is important. Let's go ahead and do that. But anyway, Clay, did I answer your question about if I would use? No, so you don't speak too much, but I just can't see all your messages basically, because there's a lot of people messaging too. But no, please continue to message. I do like reading what you have to say. You're all good. Don't worry. There's even a 3D. So yeah, there's 3D games made with Love 2D, but man, I don't wish that upon anyone. Let's go to reddit.com/r. This is risky. You guys are seeing my search history. What is it? Love 2D. Love 2D. What is it? I thought it was called Love 2D. I'm not gonna go on Reddit. I'm too worried that I'm signed in. You guys will see something. I don't even know what it would be. but the Love 2D Reddit I like because some people post. Okay, I'm gonna do it in an incognito window on the side so you guys can't see any of my browsing history, just in case. I don't think I have anything wrong, but I don't want to take any risks. Reddit.com/r Love 2D. I'm pretty sure it's Love 2D. I thought that it was. Reddit Love 2D. Does it have to be a lowercase? Oh, it has to be lowercase r. That's the problem. Okay, so we're going to go to top. I bet if we go to top of all time, we will find some 3D games. Because, yeah, here we go. The top post of all time is a first-person game in Love 2D. And, like, you look at this video, and it's like, wow, that looks pretty cool. That's not bad. It'd be fun to make a game in that. I guarantee you making this in Love 2D was the biggest nightmare on the planet. If you did this in Unity, it would take you probably 1/10 of the time. I can't imagine how much work this was. It is very cool that they got this working in a 2D game engine, but this is not feasible large scale. It's very cool though. It's an amazing like demonstration of what you can do with Love 2D, but it's not something I would ever recommend. It just would be very, very hard. A library called G3D. Let's look up G3D, but I'm going to do it on the side again so you don't see my search history. G3D Love 2D. Alrighty, so this guy made an engine. And he has some models, although that's a PNG model. How does that work? Oh no, here we go. That must be the texture. So it looks like you pass in the object, which I have to assume is the model, and then this must be the texture for it. I would guess these are also used for texture mapping. The background is just... Oh, it's a skybox. It is actually a big skybox in there. He made this? Oh my gosh. This is awesome. I can't believe that this was made. Wow, they made a Minecraft clone in it. And this was back in 2019. I bet it's way better now. Okay. I will say I'm impressed by this engine. The reason why I still wouldn't recommend it though is just because of level design and how you place objects into the world. I don't know how that would work. Is there like a 3D? I guess you could use like Blender or something like that for mapping. I'm sure that there's some way to make it compatible. Long story short, it does seem like there is a legit way to make 3D games in Love 2D. It does seem like there's enough support that you could do it. Yeah, you can use Blender and you can use you can design all your levels in Blender and then just import them. That's probably just as easy as it would be. Well, so what's nice about Unity is that you can just like drag and drop all your objects and design the level in the engine, which is cool. But it's probably just as easy to do it in Blender. I don't see why it would be that much worse. That's really cool that this is possible, and I will admit it does look better than I thought it was. It does look more supported than I thought it was. I still think that there's going to be too many limitations to warrant like making a full scale game with it. I think it would be worth doing like a game jam game with it. I think that'd be really cool to make something like that, and that's something I would definitely consider trying out, is doing like a game jam game. But something longer scale, I don't think that would be feasible. It still would be just a ton of extra work, and like something like Unity or Godot, there are so many features that the teams behind those work on and make just so much better that there's no 3D or physics system. That's kind of a big issue. Is that like, even though this is it's clearly working and you can code all your stuff yourself, but without the built-in stuff that like Unity and Godot have for level design and like you were saying physics and even animations, I don't know how you would animate a 3D model with this. I'm sure there's a way. He's clearly doing it here, so it must be possible. How would you guys react on Chalcade seeing your posts on Love2D forums? I don't go on the Love2D forums too often. I mainly go on the Love2D forums whenever I personally have a question. And my questions haven't been answered very well because I have really complicated questions. One of my most recent questions on the Love2D forums is, how do you stop the like Windows error message from popping up whenever you start my game? Because whenever you start my game on Windows or Mac, it says like, this developer is not trusted. Be careful. I don't want that. I want it to just start normally. It's kind of weird that it doesn't. Let's go ahead and do this. We're gonna do more key binding stuff. Key binding stuff is perfect for me to do now because like it doesn't take that much concentration. I can still read the chat a little bit. Yeah, there's a 3D animation library. Yeah, it makes sense. So that's the problem though, and it's the same problem that Love2D has actually. Is that simple things like animations, like Unity just works with animations and objects and level design. All this stuff just works. But with Love2D, even in the 2D aspect, you have to find libraries that support all these things. And it's not that easy. There's an animation library that I downloaded and I use all the time called Animate. But it would probably be nicer if animation was just built in natively. But that's not that big of a deal. And I imagine it would be an even worse problem with 3D just because it's not as widely used compared to 2D. So we're going to change the start menu to work with return and tab, which it already does, but it does that here. So I'm going to move this to here. Get rid of this. This is going back to item. If input : pressed is equal to, what did I call it? My short-term memory is so bad. Start. I'm stupid, not that. Start. There we go. So now I should be able to open the pause menu with the tab or the enter keys, which I can. That's good. Next up, let's do the roll. Oh, I'm missing all kinds of stuff. You started your own business. Dude, make your own game. Do you think anyone can learn? You absolutely can learn. It's just a matter of jumping in and making something. No matter what engine or framework you use. For a beginner, I probably would recommend something like Unity or Godot. But it's all a matter of just starting and making games. Just start with something really simple, like a really easy game where you just walk around and collect coins or something like that. Like you would learn a lot, or remake Breakout or Pong or something like that. Just remake a bunch of really small games, and I really mean that. If you commit to making a giant RPG like I did, this is like my 20th game. I've made a lot of games before this, and this is the biggest one. I really urge people to start with smaller games and get them completed because you learn a lot building stuff from start to finish. And even if you don't know how to code yet, if you jump in, you'll learn to code while you're making it. And yeah, is there a demo? Yes, there is a demo. I think it's actually in the description of the stream, so you can check that out. Next, we're going to work on the space key, which is the roll. I'm going to go back to data. We're going to add another called roll. Or I'm going to call it dodge. Dodge is cooler because it might evolve from a roll to something different. We're going to call this space. And get rid of this. We don't need this. Then back over here, all we have to do is call player roll. That's really easy. Is my game scalable? When you say scalable, do you mean graphically? Because yes, it is. Whoops, not space. I'm dumb. Not space. It's called dodge. Let me show you in a second. If you're talking about how it scales graphically, the answer is yes. It scales very well. In fact, I would say I'm particularly proud of how well my game scales because you can scale it all the way down to like a tiny window like this, and you can still play the game normally. It works perfectly, and even all the menus, like it functions great, and I could make it. I can even, yeah, same with this, is that like when I record for TikTok, I just make it into a window that's similar to this, and you can play the game normally. I will say though that when you have the game loaded in like this vertical format for TikTok, the menus do not work, or they work, but they don't scale right, so it looks like this. Again, they still work, but like it's just awkward because I didn't optimize it for vertical at all. It's only optimized for this size, which is fine. I don't think that's an issue. Yeah, so someone in the chat's talking about, or Ryan's talking about art. Art is something I struggle with a lot. So like, I'm getting a lot of help from others to help me with some of the gaps. I'm using some open source assets. I'm doing, but like pretty much any open source asset I use, I take it and put it into Sprite, and I do a lot of adjustments to it to make sure that it fits my style, because I don't think there's a single asset out there that I've loaded into the game and it's like, oh, that looks good. It never looks good. You always have to edit it a little bit. But editing a sprite is way easier than starting from scratch, and it'll still look really unique. So I think that's definitely a tactic I advise. Another thing that doesn't work in vertical is the text box. That gets messed up too. Save stream. Yeah, the stream will be saved. It's going to be saved as a VOD. I think the last one I did, which admittedly was a long time ago, it did get saved. Stream settings. Let me make sure that it gets saved. I'm pretty sure it does. I can't imagine why it wouldn't. How are you designing my levels and placing tiles? That's a good question. So the levels that you see in the demo, all of it is just testing. All of it is not final in any way. You can see I named all of the maps like test and test 2. None of these are final. But to answer your question of how I do it is I load in these tile sets, and you can see them over here on the right. And let's say I wanted to, I don't know, let's add some flowers around. So like I have these flowers right here. I'll zoom in. So I have these flower tiles. You can just click on any of these, and then I can go to objects, and I'll place like a flower right here and another flower right here. And I'll put a couple right here. So that's how you place tiles. And of course, it just gets more complex from there. Placing flowers is really easy. But like making the cliffs, again, you can see how all the tiles are here, and you can just like place them in the correct positions. And the animated tiles are here too. So how this works is you can set it up where this tile, which is the top part of the waterfall, it alternates between these 3 tiles on the top row, like really quickly to create the animation effect. And it does that for all of these. Any of these that has like the little reel clip on it, that's how you know that the tile is animated. Tile dark mode? Oh, that would be amazing. I wonder if that'd be really cool if they had a dark mode. I would love that. If you get the time, could you message me on Discord? Yeah, you can message me on Discord. If it's yeah, you can message me on Discord. I read everyone's DMs that they send me on Discord. The only time I don't respond to someone on Discord is if they don't provide me enough information, or if like their question is overboard, like way too intense. That's when I won't respond. But normally I respond. I'm pretty responsive in general. I think you are the first person that got to the top of the waterfall. I don't know anyone that did. Like, even I haven't done that. I only did that, I think when you reported it. Let's finish up the key binding. I'm still not done yet. Backspace is not used. Oh, we can put this here. I don't need to add a new one. I can just do main action, move. Oh wait, no, I do need to use it. Okay, I do need to use it. If input colon pressed, and then we'll do right, then screens move 1. And if it's left, screens move -1. So all of this part is doing is, like in the pause menu, you can click these buttons up here to move between the different screens, but you can also use the arrow keys. Oh, that did it twice again. Look, it's doing it twice. Whoops. Shoot, I did that again. Why is it doing it twice? That makes me mad. Oh, it's because I didn't delete this yet. That's why. Make sure. Yeah. That's why. Okay. That should fix it. So, back to this. Okay, so the key binding works perfectly for this. That's good. We can go back to here. Oh no, back to here. Menu select key. I think I can put this in here. No, I can't. I can't. That's gonna stay. Okay, so I'm gonna clean this up a bit. So I whenever I add like debugging stuff, which I do a lot, I should add this to that file too. So like you can see I have all kinds of debug stuff. So like this K key, it has me spawning fireballs and spawning damages. So like when I was first making the damage effect, I binded it to the K key. So then whenever I started the game, I just pressed K to spawn these numbers, and I could see how it looks. That's something I do all the time. Source code. So there is source code for this game on GitHub. It's limited though. So like this code I was showing you earlier, in this repo, this is called Legend. This one is private. No one else can access this except for me. But there is still another one called Legend of Lua. So this one is open source, but it's not fully up to date with my recent version. And there's lots of reasons for that, mainly for legal reasons. I couldn't buy assets and put them into this repo open source. That's not allowed. A lot of the commissions I'm going to be doing, it wouldn't work in open source format. So this is it was like a cutoff point. I was developing off of this repo called Legend of Lua for like a year, and this is still a fully functional version of the game. It's just more limited, and you can use this to check out a lot of aspects of the game and how it works, and it's still really useful. But up until like whenever I created the Legend repo, I don't remember when that was. And in fact, you can actually see the usage right here, where Legend of Lua had a whole bunch of usage up to a certain point, and then it stopped suddenly, and then you can see that it picked up right here. So that's there was a cutoff point at some point. Let's see when it was. It was this one, October 14th. So that was the cutoff, was October 14th. You can push into the corner. Yeah, so the boss AI has a lot of work that needs to be done, because like you were saying, you can cheese it. I actually haven't tried yet, but I know that you can. So let's lure him up to a corner like you were saying. And just do this. Yeah, so this is pretty lame. There definitely should be a way to prevent this from happening. Either like maybe he can like float over you or something. But yeah, it sucks that this is a thing right now. I'll definitely fix it at some point. By the way, how old am I? I'm 26. Thank you, Clay. Sorry, I missed your message. Thank you for just stopping in, and have a nice sleep. Anyway, am I able to fix that now? No, because I don't know how I'm going to fix it. Right now, I'm just accepting that the AI for this game isn't good, because it isn't. None of the AI for any of the enemies are any good. They pretty much just like wait until you get close to them, and once they do, they're just going to follow you, and sometimes they'll dash into you where you have to dodge, like the bats. It really isn't very intense. It really isn't very good. And same with these, like these guys, all they do is they just walk towards you. There's no real, it's not really intelligence, actually. It's more just like they're following a path towards the player, which is it's pretty lame. So all of these need a revamp in terms of their intelligence, to keep it from being able to, like cheese them. That's no fun. Do I know C#? Yes, I do. I use C# at my day job. Do I make a living off of game development? No. At the moment, I am a full-time employee, working as a software developer. But I would like to go full-time at some point. I think. Well, I'm not gonna say anything else other than that. But if the slime split into two, maybe that'd be cool if they did that. What I'm planning to do is adding a bunch of different colors of slimes where they each have their own gimmick. I love the idea of having them split into two, for like one of the colors. In fact, that's a really good idea. You're learning C#? Yeah, C# is one of my favorite languages. In fact, if I could use Love2D, but instead use C# as the language, that would be the ideal thing, because I really do like C#. It's really, really good. So let's go back. Am I done with... No, I still have one more for this. This is... version page. I'm going to call this landing page. And the key for this is L. Look at that L. You can very clearly see that that's an L. I love this font. Look at that L. That is so clearly an L. It makes me so happy. So now let's go back to item. We're going to do if, whoops, is L, nope, is, what did I call this again? I can never remember what I call these. Landing page. Pressed. And then I have to put all the stuff here in there. The landing page thing is harder than it should be. Because you would think that it would just be like, when you press the landing page button, it just opens up this URL. Like, you would think that this is the only line that you would need, just opening the URL, but it like breaks everything if you don't format the window properly. So you have to format the window and then open up the URL. It's really strange. All right, let me get back to chat. I missed a bunch of stuff. Green slime split. Yeah, I think there's... What's the best way to learn C? Learn C#. Again, making a game. Probably download Unity. I would say to download Unity and just make a game in C# and follow some guides, learn about the coding, and just going from there. What's my opinion on Moonscript? I've never heard anyone talk about Moonscript before, ever. You are the first person to bring up Moonscript to me. I didn't know anyone knew about it. So Moonscript, for anyone who's not familiar, is a pseudo language, kind of. It's like a rapping language that was built by the guy who made itch.io, actually. So if we go to Moonscript, there should be, yeah, so Moonscript looks like this, which is different from what Lua is. but you can just compile it into Lua. So all of this stuff is what you would write in Lua. I mean, I personally wouldn't write it like this. This looks atrocious. I would never write it like this. But it's it's way more compact. And it sounds like he put in some extra features, like classes and inheritance, which is nice. Actually, that would be a huge benefit. And yeah, you just install it. And the tricky part with that, Christian, hi, thank you for stopping in. The difficulty with that is that you would need to compile the Lua you'd have to compile the Moon script into Lua, and then compile the Lua into the Love2D project, which is a little bit weird. Cool Monkey, what's up? Thank you for stopping in. I could teleport in the middle of the... Yeah, what was your name? Crashtifer. That's a great name. I completely agree that like that's one foolproof way of doing this, is that if he gets stuck... honestly, if any enemy gets stuck in a corner, they should have some way of like jumping over the player or somehow teleporting away so that they're not stuck anymore. Otherwise, it turns into like... And like my friend Christian is here, it turns into a RuneScape fight where you just like get them into a weird position and then you just hit them and they can't hit you back because they're stuck. So I don't want my boss to be like that. Because again, anyone who's just joining, if you fight the boss and you lure him into a corner, he can't do anything. He just does this. He's stuck, which is super stupid. It's just stun lock. Yeah, so that's definitely something I'll need to implement. But I'm waiting to do that just because I'm planning to rework all the AI anyway to something way more robust, because right now it just sucks. So I'm gonna wait to do that. I'm gonna keep all these ideas in mind though. Stick yourself or the AI into a corner and guaranteed to break the combat. Yeah, so I don't want to break any combat AI. Because there will be multiple, but for the boss, no. Yeah, stamina bar. I'm not planning to do a stamina bar. A lot of people suggest that, but I don't find stamina bars very fun. I think they're kind of more annoying. Is your channel TikTok monetized? Yes, it is monetized. The way monetization works on TikTok is really weird, and you don't make very much money from it. So I get a lot of views on TikTok, but I don't make hardly any money. It's not good. I get 1/10 of views on YouTube, and I make the same amount of money. So it's really weird. But it's also easier to get views on TikTok. I have TikTok, yes. In fact, I am far more popular on TikTok than I am on YouTube. But YouTube's growing. YouTube's doing really good. And I bet if I kept up these streams a bit more regularly, it would make a big difference. So I'm still trying to commit to both of them, because both audiences in both formats has their pros. I love browsing TikTok and I love browsing YouTube. So I definitely want to be a part of both of them. I will say though, it is very hard to make videos for both of them, just because like making a YouTube video, making a video in general. So like a TikTok, all my TikToks are like 45 or 50 seconds, and that still takes like 2 hours to make. Mr. Kaiserroll on Discord. I changed my name from Kaiserroll to Chalicate on Discord, so that's not true anymore, Mr. Jacob Spinner. But yeah, it's all just, you know what I'm saying. No more. Get back to this. I want to finish up the last of the key bindings because I'm almost done. So the one I just implemented was L, which opens up the landing page. Oops, we need to say this needs to be in quotes. Landing page in quotes. And then if I press L, it opens up the download page, which is perfect. So that's working. What did I do before game dev? Well, I mean, so I'm not game dev full time. I'm a software developer at Microsoft during the day, and then I only work on this outside of working hours. I do want that to change. That's going to change at some point. I don't know when that's going to be though. And don't tell anyone that I work with. I'm a video editing agency, and I can edit videos if you want. That's really nice to know, and I will keep that in mind. The problem is that editing isn't the bottleneck with making the videos. The bottleneck is so here's my process for making a TikTok. So let's say I'm working on a 60-second video for TikTok. For me to make that video, I need to first write the script. I need to edit the script so that it's parsed down and fits into the time frame, always under 60 seconds. Then I record the script. It takes probably 5 or 10 minutes to get all the recordings done because I'm not perfect at recording very well. It takes me a while. Then I have to edit the audio. It takes about as much time as the recording is. Then I have to record all the video clips that you see, which means that I have to reset up the game so that it has the correct dimensions where I fit it properly. Actually, I do that using game start. So in game start, I have this vertical property. I just change this to true. And then when the game starts, it starts in a vertical format. In fact, it's a vertical format that doesn't actually fit on my screen because my screen is not tall enough to fit all the pixels. So I can't actually see everything. It looks like this, where it's kind of cut off. This is how I record. Like, this is legitimately how I record stuff, is it looks like this, where I can't see everything that's on screen. I just have to hope that the stuff that's cut off at the top and the bottom looks okay, because it just doesn't fit on my screen. So that's how I do that. Please make membership so I can monetize more. I will. So I appreciate people offering to help me monetize, and I am planning to do that. However, I'm not doing that until I'm doing this full time, because I'm not able to devote enough time to make people's money worth it. I really do appreciate people wanting to support me, but I have a full-time job right now, and I want to make sure that anyone who's supporting me for like membership or Patreon or something like that is getting their money's worth. So once I move into this full time, I'll be able to kind of allocate a bit more time into that sort of setup. But for now, just enjoy it for how it is. I will be full time at some point, and we'll be able to go from there. But I really do appreciate the support. A lot of you guys are really eager to help me out, and I really do love that. So the problem isn't that I'm not making enough money, because I'm not going, like, there's not enough money that I will make from this that it will compare to my current job. It's more of a timing thing. Even if I reached a good monthly income from this, it still wouldn't change a lot of aspects that are keeping me full time at my job. So that's all there is to it. I'm sticking with my job for a while. I will keep everyone posted on my plans, but it's not something I can easily change right now. You go through a portal in an alternate world. No comment. There is a story involved that is somewhat similar to that. And that's the other thing. I haven't shared any of the lore or any of the story yet. But it's mostly done. I don't have the dialogue written, but the main story beats, the main characters, the main ideas and what happens in the game, all that stuff is ready. All I need to decide on is what the names of the characters are, the names of the different places. I'm working on concept art with some artists. I need to plan out what some of the characters look like. I have general ideas, but basically the story is there, but all the details still need to be filled in. Should you learn C# or Lua? I mean, C# is a more robust and widely used language compared to Lua. But I do think Lua is easier to learn. It all just depends on what you're working on. If you want to make games, probably C# is better because you can use Unity. But if you learn Lua and Love2D, I do think that you'll become a better programmer because it's more intensive, but it's also more difficult. So there's pros and cons of each. Really, the trick is just choosing one and sticking with it for a bit. Or choosing one, trying it, and seeing if it meshes with you, and if it doesn't, switch to something else. Can you implement input for a gamepad? Yes. I'm not doing that today because it's going to be a little bit complicated, but the library that I'm using, Baton, natively supports joystick and stuff like that. And I was talking about this earlier at the beginning of the stream, but that was a while ago. It has like this axis left X minus and left X plus. That's referring to joystick movement. So like left X plus is saying if you ever move the joystick to the left in any capacity, it's going to activate this. It's going to activate left. So it does have that built in where if I do plug in a controller, should I try that? I have a controller. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna go grab a controller because I have one. Okay, so I have a controller. It is kind of like a cheap generic one that I got on Amazon, but I've had it for a while and I actually like it a lot. So I'm going to try plugging it in to my PC. And I'm going to give this a 60% chance of working in some capacity. I do think that when I move the joystick, the player is going to move. I do think that's going to happen. Oh, let me... This is shit. I don't want to do that. Let's go back to... not vertical. False. Save. Okay. So I'm going to... it didn't work. Nah, it didn't work. I was hoping it would work automatically, but it didn't work. So there's probably a lot of... Oh, it's still setting up. It's not done setting up yet. This is the first time I plug this controller into my PC. So let's wait for that to load up. And I'm going to look at the chat again. Oh, you love the animation? I love the animation when he looks at the sky. That wasn't done by me, actually. That was done by someone in the Discord. His name is Tony. It's the same guy who did the boss. So he helped me out with that animation. He helped me out a little bit with the walking animations, too. I did most of the walking animations, but he gave me a good foundation to go off of. Also, the bow is busted and has no cooldown. I don't think it has a cooldown. Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't have a cooldown, but you can still shoot it. Everything's fine. I don't think it's an issue. Excuse me. Okay, my controller is set up, so let's try it again. Oh my gosh, look at that! Whoa! Guys, I'm playing Legend of Lua with a controller. Oh my gosh, I can slash too. Oh, but it's going towards the mouse. And whenever I slash, it just goes towards the mouse. Wow, look at that. I'm playing with a controller. This is fun. I should have done this earlier. This is actually really cool. Let's see what I can do, because things are a little bit weird. So let me make sure this is all good. I'm gonna go ahead and check this in. Finalized key binding. This stream has been going so well. Does it work with a Switch controller? Probably does. Actually, I have a Switch controller too. Let me go grab it. Ugh, okay. Switch controller. And the cord that I had probably works with it as well. That will also need a setup. You should make it go towards the input vector. Yeah, so it's not going to go towards the mouse. It going towards the mouse is just how it automatically worked. It's going to go towards whichever direction you last moved or were last facing, which I do keep track of that. The player has a dir property. Get dir. Direction. Oh, dir x and dir y. Here we go. Wait, that's wrong. Where do I save this? Roll vec, set linear velocity, linear damping. I know I saved the player's direction. Oh, here it is. Player dir x and player dir y. It is saved. So that's good. Anyway, let's try it out with the Switch controller, which it probably will work. Yep, it's no different. It is different, actually. It's always... Oh, okay, this is weird. Okay, guys. I don't know why I wasn't doing it with the other controller. Probably because the other controller sucks. So the reason why... Like, if you look at me moving around, I can only move diagonally right now. And that's not ideal, obviously. I can't move up and down. So here's why I'm moving diagonally. I can explain exactly why I'm moving diagonally only. And it's because in the player's code, input get move. So here it's getting input X and input Y for when I'm using the joystick, right? And input X is going to be some value between -1 and 1, and input Y is going to be some value between -1 and 1 as well. And like, let's say I move the joystick straight to the left. If I move the joystick straight to the left, that will mean that input X will be -1 and input Y will be 0. And this works because I say if input X is less than 0, aka I'm moving the stick all the way to the left, then that means that my dir X is also -1, which will mean I'm going to move to the left. But this is a problem because since this is an analog stick, the value of input X and input Y, in fact, I'm gonna show you guys. D1 equals input X and D2 equals input Y. So this is gonna be a fantastic demonstration of what I'm talking about, because what's happening is it's not going straight up and down ever. It's only going diagonal. So you can see that sucks. I'm gonna round it. I don't remember how to round in Lua. Lua round to decimal. I think it's just, oh wait. This is confusing. Sorry, it's taking me a second to figure out how to do this. Whatever, I'm not, you know what, it doesn't matter. So math the floor is going to round to the nearest integer, and I don't want that. So we're just going to look at all these long decimals. So here, this is perfect. So with my keyboard, you can see that the value is always up. It's always an integer. It's always -1 or 1. If I go up and straight down, it's always just 1, -1, 1, -1, because these are just like, these are what is it called? Digital keys, like a D-pad, and they are either on or off. Like this button is either on or it's off. While a joystick though can have an infinite number of directions, right? So when I like move in a diagonal or any particular diagonal, you can see that these. So like when I move straight left, for example, it's -1 right now, but if I angle it even a tiny bit up or down, even a tiny bit, it's going to go full diagonal. And that's because of this check right here. Where did it go? Where did it go? It's because of this check right here. All I'm checking is if it's greater than 0, then do this. That's not really what we want. Instead, yeah, I know. So what you and Kay are saying is that you can't get it to get exactly to -1. You can, but it's just not easy. Whoops. It just like I can get it close to -1, but it's really tight. It normally doesn't. You can see it flash back to 0 momentarily, but man, it is not easy. So really, I shouldn't be changing this dir x to 1 or checking for greater than 0. Instead, I should just be using these values. Actually, this is weird. I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to get rid of all of this. I don't think I need any of this code anymore. I think I can just say dir x equals, or yeah, dir y equals input y. Whoops, I'll leave it there. Yeah, we're going to do this. Input y, we're at least going to see what's going to happen. I'm not fully sure. And then dir x equals input x. And so the reason why this is probably going to end up being a little bit weird, because before I had it set to like full 1s and -1s. Yeah, so I don't want to use Math.Floor, by the way. I still wanted to show some decimals, but not all of them. Math.Floor would round to an integer. Oh, why did I disappear? What is happening? Whoa, dude. Look at the player. It looks like Paper Mario. That's so cool. It's scaling the player's x value, or it's scaling the player's width. That's crazy. That's so cool. That's a really cool effect, actually. Whoa. I actually kind of like that. It's pretty sick. Well, it looks exactly like how Paper Mario looks. Like when he has an ability where he can go really skinny like this and walk around. That's so funny. That's hilarious. Anyway, we don't want to change the player's scale value like that. Wow, that's cool. But here's the other thing though. So look at how I'm moving, and look at how smooth it is. I can move in any direction. I can move in any direction. So ignore the weird scaling thing with the player. I'm not moving diagonally. I can move straight up. I can move straight left, or I can move any type of diagonal. Even not just like a 45-degree angle. It's any angle, because it's taking specifically these decimal values and applying it to the player's movement. So like that's really cool that this movement is already working. I just need to fix the player's animations now. Wow, I wasn't expecting to implement controllers today, but I'm glad I am because it's the best feature ever. Okay, let's dig into this a little bit more. I'm gonna leave the D1 and D2 for a little bit. So, okay, so dir X and dir Y. Normally, so prior to today, the dir X and dir Y was expected to be specifically 1 or -1 or 0. It was not expected to be a decimal. So I need to go through this and find every instance of this and make sure that it's okay for it to be a decimal. And there's some places where it's not okay. Oh, wait. One other thing I want to check is, does the keyboard input still work? And it does, minus the weird graphical issues. But like, I can still play with the keyboard exactly how I have been. Nothing's changed, except I need to fix the graphics. But I can just pick up my controller and also play with the controller as well. That is awesome. I can't believe how well this is working automatically. This is really, really nice. Sorry, so I appreciate you asking if you can help out, but I'm not accepting help from people. Or excuse me, I'm accepting help from people, but only when I commission them. I'm not accepting free work. It makes things really complicated when it comes to attribution. So I'd like to avoid that. If you have like a portfolio of work that you've done, feel free to send it to me. I look at anyone's portfolio if they send it to me, because there is going to be some artistic work that I do need at some point. But yeah, right now that's not the best idea for me to like onboard people. I just send a portfolio. That's the best way. Thank you for stopping in, UK Air. But the reason why I had that policy is because I get a lot of people that do message me on Discord and they're like, hey, I want to help out with the game. What can I do? And like, I do genuinely appreciate the sentiment, but it's just, there really isn't anything that someone could do. Like, there is some artwork that needs to be done, but I need to find an artist that can do it and then specifically give them all the details on it. And that's why I recommend people to send me a portfolio, or anyone that you're trying to work with. So if any of you out there have like, or you're a coder, or you write music, or you're an artist, then the best way to like find people to work with is to make some kind of like Twitter account or some Linktree or portfolio, something that you can easily send to people and say, hey, I'm an artist. I'd love to help out with your project. Here's my work. Let me know if you're interested. If you do that, I would say that your odds of getting a response is like 100 times better, because I get messages all the time from people that say, hey, can I help out with your game? And they don't send anything else. And when I receive a message like that, I tend to ignore it because I get a lot of them. And the reason why I ignore it is because they're not giving me anything to work off of. If they sent me a portfolio full of like digital art, or like they have some really unique pixel art style, or they had some examples of things that they've done in the past, then it helps out a lot because I can gauge whether they're compatible with my project. Because even an artist that's fantastic, they might not have a style that really suits what I'm looking for, and it's nothing against them. It's just not what I'm looking for. So yeah, if you want to send me the video editing portfolio, that'd be fine. I will absolutely look at it. The main video editing that I would potentially need help with is a trailer. But what I was saying earlier is that the bottleneck isn't editing for me. The bottleneck is getting clips, writing the script, editing or finding music too. Editing is only like 25% of the time I spend. So finding an editor wouldn't help me too much, because these are smaller scale videos. If I was making a video that was, if I was making like longer form content, then that was something I would definitely do. Okay, let's go and fix the player's sprite. No, the player's width scaling is not on purpose. That is a bug that I'm going to be fixing right now. So we're going to look for dir X. It says if dir Y is equal to 0 and dir X is not equal to, that's right. That is right. Let's just keep looking. Dir X normalized player speed. That's good. This is why the player is able to move in any direction, because it's just creating a vector using the inputs and normalizing it. So this part is exactly why that all works, and I'm glad that it does. If dir X is equal to 0, okay, so if you're not walking, that's fine. That stays the same. Okay, here's the problem with the scaling issue. It's right here. Because it's scaling based on a decimal. And what we actually need to do is... there's probably a way to do this inline. I'm going to say if player dot... No, I can't do that. I'm just going to make it a variable. That's no big deal. Local scale x equals 1. And then... or actually, I guess we can say scale x equals player.dir x. Is there a way to change it? I'm just going to do if scale x is less than 0, then scale x equals -1, else scale x equals 1, and then I can just put scale x into here. Whoops, not that. Scale x, and then I think that this will fix it. It didn't. Excuse me. That didn't fix it because I'm actually not drawing the player here. Wait, where did I put that? Wait, what did I just do? Times scale x. So that's not, I don't think this is gonna work because oh, it does work. Nice. Excuse me. That did fix it. Except the player is always facing up for some reason. Says maybe here could be named John. So actually, it's funny that you say that because a lot of the characters actually aren't going to have names. They're going to have like if you talk to this person, like shopkeeper or something like that. The plan isn't to give names to everyone because like in general, when I'm playing a game like an RPG and I'm talking to someone about it, I don't really think I use the names of characters. I'll just say like, oh, go talk to the blacksmith. Even if the blacksmith had a name, I don't know if I would call them, or the king and the queen. If the king and the queen had a name, I might say their name, but I think it's more likely that I would just say what their title is. Yeah, I agree with that. A mystical game, like a game like this, where like even the player is there's not really a character there. It's kind of just like a blank slate. I like the generic aspect of it. What game engine am I using? I'm using Love 2D. So, okay, the walking's a little bit weird. So this is me moving with the keyboard. And it's mostly fine until I walk diagonally like this. It gets weird. And also, he switches to the right too frequently, which is not right. So we don't really want that. Oh, okay, here we go. I don't want this. We're gonna say else if scale x is greater than 0, then it's gonna be equal to 1. And then else we're going to set scale x to, what was it? There was like a prevdir x, I think, which is what I need. This is tough. Crash, thank you for stopping in. Appreciate it. I'm trying to figure out why this is happening. So just for clarity's sake, the problem I'm experiencing is that this is fine. This is all fine. Okay, so that's the first issue. So check this out. Whenever that's also an issue. That's more important actually. So whenever I stop, I just go back to looking to the right for some reason. What's the best way to learn shaders? So I wish I had a good answer for you. I don't know shaders very well. The way I learned shaders was from a specific website that was, again, specifically for Love 2D. And I just followed that tutorial, and that taught me the basics, but I still only know the basics. Unfortunately, I'm not too deep in shaders at the moment. Also, I'm sorry I keep coughing. My throat is really gross right now. Okay, scale x equals player dir x. So if it's less than 0 equals we're gonna do. So this is the problem with having so many properties, because I know that somewhere in here, yeah, here it is, PrevDirects. I found it. I think this is it. No, this isn't it. This isn't it. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. I might need to make a new one. I'm gonna make a player dot. Oh no, I have a scale X. It's right here. There already is a scale X property. So let's do. Where's this being set? Oh, this I must have just created this. Never mind. What country do I live in? The U.S. I live near Chicago. Don't add an else. Well, so I know what the problem is. The problem is that this value needs to be the last direction that the player faced. So it needs to be either -1 or 1. But so like when I set this to 1, for example, it's always gonna hit this else statement. It's gonna hit this else statement anytime I'm not moving. So like I go this way and I immediately turn to the right because I set that to 1 in the else statement. If I change this else statement to -1, then I'm always going to look to the left whenever I move. So I look to the left, look to the left, look to the left. So this needs to be changed to the last scale X that I used. And I think I can actually keep track of that pretty easily. I'm going to add a new one. So instead of doing player.scale X, because I don't think this is used. I must have added it a long time ago, but never used it. Player.last scale X equals 1. So now I can keep track of this last scale X thing. And I'm going to say player.last scale X equals scale X. And then here. No, that's not going to work. I have to put this. Oh, where does this work? I need to put this inside. Okay, I'm gonna expand this a little bit. Sorry, I'm like rambling because I keep changing my mind on how this needs to be implemented. So that needs to stay. I'm gonna expand this out so we can read this a little bit better because it's kind of ugly. Okay, that added a lot more space, but it's a lot more readable. So I think I need to put this line of code that I copied inside these two. Because we only want to update the last scale X whenever we successfully move in some direction. Otherwise, it's going to always reset back to 1. So I think that this is going to fix it. Let's see. So, okay, so that's working. Okay. It's looking a lot better. That was weird. Okay, so the down diagonals are still busted, but everything else looks like it's working. That's good. And on the controller side of things, let's see. Movement still feels awesome, but for some looks like the stop animations are good. But yeah, for some reason he's always facing up. I don't know why that is. So let's try and fix that. Let's see, scale Y probably. Bow scale Y, PY, that's fine. We don't want scale Y, we're just changing the animation. So the animation's not being updated properly. Yeah, this has nothing to do with scale. The chat died? That's okay. I think it's because everyone's just entranced with my with my coding. I'm just kidding. So there's a point in here where we change animations. Where is this? So I have all these animations stored for the player, like walk down and walk up. The problem is that we're changing to walk up inappropriately, and let's see if I can find where that's happening. So if we're walking and dir_y is equal to 1, we don't want equal to 1, we just want greater than 1. I think that's the problem. I think that's good. I think that alone is enough to fix this. I'm gonna check the rest, I guess, just in case. Yeah. Greater than 1. You're in trace with your tiredness? Same, honestly. Is this how a big project looks like? It's hard to say because, like, I guess this game is kind of a big project, but there still isn't very much content yet. So I think in terms of how much code there is, this is pretty representative of what the final version is going to look like. There's going to be a lot more files, but this is probably like 70%, 75% of all the code that will exist in this game, if I had to guess. So, oh yeah, thank you. I should probably check the other one too. Oh no, there's an else statement there. So I'd say that this is pretty close representation of how many like lines of code there will be. There's probably, I mean, there's definitely going to be more. Probably like 25% more files and lines, if I had to guess, because a lot of the content that's going to be added from here on out is just going to be like new tiled maps, new characters, new sprites, new bosses. Which like every boss is going to have its own file, but it's all going to be in here. I think this is pretty close to what a big project does look like. Let's keep looking for this before I forget. Whoops. What did I just do? Okay. Make sure that this is good. Okay. That works. I think this will fix it. Okay. Moving. Oh, he's still facing up. My diagonals are still busted. That didn't fix anything. It's still walking up too much. Oh, not greater than 1, greater than 0. That's the problem. 1 is the maximum value. It would never reach that. Or it might reach that, but we want greater than 0. Okay, I think that will fix it. Thanks for the heads up on that greater than 0. Run. Alrighty. That's better. Look at my little player boy. Okay, good. And the diagonals are better. Alright. Man, the controller feels really nice. One thing I am going to do, so see how, like, when I move straight to the left, sometimes he looks up. I don't like how it looks when he looks up like this. And I did fix that for like the bow. Like, look at the bow. This is me facing straight to the right, but I can angle up a little bit more like this before the player looks up. So I think I want to change that threshold a little bit. So instead of greater than 0, lock up. Instead of greater than 0, let's do something greater than like 0.1. It might be something other than 0.1. It might be even a negative number. I need to experiment a little bit. I can't remember which it is. I might actually have to adjust a few things. Okay, it needs to be more than that. So let's try 5. Makes way more sense. I should make a variable for this. Player dot look up threshold equals 0.5. So in general, like you saw me just now, I was just manually typing 0.5 at a bunch of places. That's never a good idea. If you can put it into a variable, that's way better. So we're gonna put that here. So here we go. Now whenever I want to do this testing, I don't have to edit every single spot. Still not working. Oh no, it's not the look up threshold. No, that's right. That's right. Is greater than, I think this needs to be negative. So let's change this negative. Actually, it needs to be more than 0.5. Let's change it to 0.75 and also negative. I love your project. I've been following for a long time now. Will you make this real game at some point? Yes, it is. It is planned to be released as a full project. And like right now, it's still in the prototype phase, but it is planned to be fully released as a full game. But yeah, let's see how that changed. Ooh, that worked. Okay, that fixed it, but 7.5 is too much. So let's change it back to like 4 or 5. That's better. That's way better. So like I can walk up a little bit like this without changing to the up animation, but if I go too far up, then yeah, he changes that. That looks really good. Rex, thank you for stopping in. He sent me a DM. Thank you. I will check it out later on. But like I said, I don't need any editing work right now. But I'll certainly look at your profile, and the main thing that I could potentially use help with is a trailer, but that'll come in a few months. How are you going to release it, Steam? I'm planning to release it on Steam, yeah. So the timeline right now, which I showed in my most recent video, which I'm going to bring up real quick because it's a pretty good reference because I can't remember what it was, is that I have a roadmap for all the features I'm going to be doing. And it looks like this. Oh no, you guys can see my recommendations. That's not good. Oh, my music stopped. Oh, it starts Silent Hill 2. Oh, that's so sad. We've been sitting in silence this whole time. I'm so sad. I need to actually make a regular playlist. It's kind of weird that I haven't done that yet. Well, actually, I do have a regular playlist. I'm just not using it. Anyway, these are the items that I'm planning on doing next. So I finished dialogue and UI. We are working on keybind and controller support right now, which is going faster than I expected. It's going like a lot faster than I expected. So this is probably going to be released this coming weekend. Then the AI and enemy rework will be a couple weeks after that. Overworld and save files is a big one because, like I was saying, none of the overworld tiles or any of the levels I've made so far are final. They're all just used for testing. So that's all going to be adjusted in this one. I'm going to write some music. And then finally, in June, end of June is the goal for this. Steam page and demo. So the Steam page is going to be the first announcement of like what the name of the game is. Because right now I'm calling it Legend of Lua, but it certainly is not going to be called that when I release it publicly. It's only called that because I thought it was funny. Because it is. It's like a Zelda game, but it's not. So that's kind of why I called it that. But there are way too many legal issues with doing that, and also I don't really think it's a very good name. So the Steam page in the demo will be the launch of the Steam page, the official new title. It'll have a bunch of the promo art that I'm going to be doing, that I have some artists working on, and then the demo is meant to be like a more complete demo, because right now the demo is just a prototype. It's just an empty space of several rooms that you can wander around and hit enemies with and do little things. It really isn't that. Breath of the Lua, that's a 10 out of 10 name right now. Don't know if I should do that either. But I think you get the idea. That's the goal, is to release it on Steam. I think that'd be a really, really cool milestone. And also having the Steam page up will be nice because I can start referring people there. People can start wishlisting it, since that's a really big aspect of marketing, is getting people to wishlist the game. Just expand the map more. Yeah, the map is extremely limited. I have a plan. In fact, like even on my desk, I have drawings of like different map layouts that I'm planning, because I have a whole bunch of them. Whoops. And so yeah, I'm actively working on that level design stuff. The problem is it's hard to show progress on it until things are done. Or I should say I could show progress, but I don't want to until it's done, which makes it really hard for making content, because like I want to make like either bi-weekly or monthly YouTube videos. I'd like to get back on monthly TikToks as well, but with this kind of content, it's hard to make videos on it. Like what could I do for the stuff we did today, for showing off the key binding stuff? Because visually nothing's changed. Visually everything is the exact same as how it was. So it's hard to spin this visual into a TikTok or any kind of video when you can't actually see what's changed. I guess you can kind of see that the player can be played with a controller now. Okay, that's probably what I'm gonna do. When the controller support is fully done, I'll make a video on that and just show how you can move in any direction. Like, it feels so smooth. It feels so smooth now. That's awesome. Stream highlights. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Stream highlights would be easy. The thing is, I like to make content that I myself would watch, and I don't think I would watch a stream highlights unless it was really well edited. Or at least I could take the visuals, because like collecting clips is a really long process. I could at least use the stream clips. You can make a second account. Yeah, that's not bad. I could totally do that. Well, so I already have the VODs on my channel, because I like keeping them up, and people still find them even after the stream ends. So that's fine with me. But let's see, what time is it? 3:13. Man, I've been going for over 2 hours. I'd say that's a pretty good stopping point, actually, because I accomplished way more than I was expecting to. I was not expecting to get both key binding and the controller support started. They're both not done, especially controller support. Controller support has way more work to do because I need to rebind all the buttons so that I can like actually, so that I can actually like slash in the different directions, because right now I can only slash towards the mouse. Another really difficult one is going to be the main menu, because this needs to work with the mouse or with the controller, and I don't even know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to implement a cursor that bounces between all these items. That's going to be a huge pain. I'm not looking forward to that at all. And same with these and these. Yeah, this menu is going to be a nightmare to make controller support for. That's why I'm saying like probably not until this time next week, a week from today, is when I would release this update. But yeah, wow, I got a lot of dumb question. When I'm working on Game Dev Studio, and I was wondering if you do manage, how do I manage my time? I manage my time poorly. That is one of my biggest drawbacks, is how poorly I manage my time. It really is not good. I wish I had some advice on how to stay better with it, but there are days where I just don't get work done, and then there's days where I get more work done than I could ever plan to. I really am trying to work on being consistent and just saying like, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to get this amount of work done. But really, it's just been like, whenever inspiration strikes me, or whenever I think I can get something done within a few hours, it's tough. I wish I had a better answer for that then. With TikTok and YouTube Shorts, you could do useful snippets. Yeah, I totally could. In fact, like a lot of the demos that I gave in this, I could probably even rewatch this VOD and be like, some of these ideas I talked about were kind of cool. Like the health bar, for example. I could do a short video talking about how the health bar works. There's plenty of things. I mean, you're right. There's lots of things I can make videos on. Do I stream often? No. This is the first time I've streamed for over a year. In fact, if you look at my past streams, I look like a baby. Here, let's pull up my past stream. It's very funny. Why is the music not playing? I thought I turned it on. Okay, I'm gonna pull up my past stream because it's very funny to look at. Because I don't look how I look now. Look at me. Look at how cute I am. Wait, can you even see me? I'm probably blocking it. Here we go. I think I'm a cutie pie in this, but I look very young, and my hair is so short. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that a good look? Is the short hair a good look? Because that's the other thing. I'm planning to cut my hair. I'm not keeping the long hair for more than a couple more months. I am for sure going to be cutting it. And I don't know, looking at that, I think the short hair is actually kind of a cool look. It's not bad. I thought that I remember looking at this and thinking that I looked like a tiny little baby, but I don't look that bad. I think I look good. Yep. So on that note, I think I'm gonna end the stream for now because it's been 2 hours and I have not eaten lunch yet. I'm pretty hungry. Actually, I haven't eaten anything yet. I'm really hungry. Donate your hair. That's not a bad idea. I could totally do that. It depends on how much like I have to donate, because it's long, but I don't know. It only goes down to like my shoulders. If that's enough to donate, then I totally would. Modley, thanks for joining in. Christian, thank you for joining in. Everyone who stopped in and said hi and was commenting, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. It makes me so happy that so many people showed up for the stream. I'm going to be doing this more in the future. I'm hoping to do this. Honestly, I would love to do this every week. Do a weekly stream, get some work done, and get people involved. If I don't do weekly, then maybe every other week or something like that. But I would like to get onto some schedule with this because this was a ton of fun. 2 hours and 15 minutes just flew by. It was really fast. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all in the chat. Really appreciate you coming. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.